Black people, Black Americans, Black people in the diaspora, down to the front. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we get into it, I want to give a huge shout out to my old faithfuls. Thank you so much for all of your support that you provided to me over the years. I really appreciate it. I also want to give a huge shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for the additional support that you provide to my channel every month. I really appreciate that. Lastly, I want to give a huge welcome to the newbies to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking that subscribe button. And if you've come across this video and are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'd be happy to have you. Black people, this is how and what they think about you when they talk amongst each other.
Have you ever been to Atlanta? It's one of the worst cities in America. I would perfectly be happy to deport the entire city. It's trash, but that city contributes 4 different congressional districts. They carve up Atlanta into these little districts in a ruby red state of Georgia, and then they hand over a DEI district down here also to Democrats. These are the old maps, ladies and gentlemen. These are the maps that were drawn by racists who are trying to pack as many black people into congressional districts as possible in order to steal votes for the Democrat Party.
That's Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson is one of the biggest political influencers on the right. Benny Johnson is also known to have taken money from Russia. So he's a paid op. He's paid by Russia to push lies and propaganda. Benny Johnson, it's also rumored that Benny Johnson loves little boys. When he goes out doing his thing for the right, when they have their little conferences and their little meetups and things like that, it is rumored that Benny Johnson always is hooking up with young men. You see, Benny Johnson is a liar, is a manipulator, is a propagandist. He knows he can use his platforms to spew hypocrisy, contradictions, and the MAGA nuts on the right won't think twice about it because he's using the proper racist language. But when you take a step back and really think about what it is that Benny Johnson just said in that video clip, the hypocrisy, no, the contradictions are glaring, okay? He says that Georgia is a red state, right? If Georgia is a red state, then that would mean all of the leadership are Republicans, right? Okay, so if all of the leadership is Republicans and Georgia is a red state, then someone asked Benny Johnson, would Republicans really be handing over blue districts to Democrats willingly? If the state of Georgia is red and being led by Republicans, who are the racists that drew the maps? Benny Johnson said that racists drew the maps. Benny Johnson is full of shit. But wait, I also want you to know how they talk about us black people over on Fox News.
One more question, and this has to do with Fox News host Jesse Waters. He made a rather foul comment today about black Americans, and I want you to listen to what he had to say. We'll talk about it on the other side. I did some research on the blacks, as Judge Jeanine so eloquently would say. The solution to Hakeem's problem, this gay Obama, is baby making. Blacks, for 150 years, have only represented 10 to 15% of the American population. Okay? That's not that much. So if they want to have more seats, they got to get in between the sheets. I wanted to play that, as offensive as that is, so that the American people can hear what's being said in other places about fellow Americans, about us. You talked about how people need to stand up, and they'll stand up at the ballot box. But what are Democrats going to do to push back against, there's no other way to call it, but a power grab by people who want to not only limit the votes of fellow Americans, but specifically want to limit the votes of African Americans, not only limit their votes, but take away their representation. What are Democrats going to do?
So first of all, I'm sorry, that was grotesque. And I pity him for having such a thwarted view of the world that he sees it as us versus them. It is the blacks, not fellow Americans, not love thy neighbor, but those other people who are trying to take something from me. That is such a dangerous perspective and in my opinion, cancerous one that is fueling the problem we have right now.
I'll add the whole clip at the end so you can see Cory Booker's response, his complete response. But yeah, that's how they see us, as others, the blacks. They don't see us as human beings. Remember, Mitch McConnell, during a press conference, othered black people when he was talking about black people voting.
Well, the concern is misplaced because if you look at the statistics, African American voters are voting in just as high a percentage as Americans.
Black Americans are clear about how these racists in this country feel about us. They don't view us as Americans. They view us as the blacks, the others, right? When they say Americans, they are talking about white people. And they have repeatedly told us this, right? So black Americans are clear. It's the POCs. You POCs need to get on board to understand that they don't see you as Americans. You are the others. You're grouped as the others. You may see yourself as an American, but they don't. I came across this video from Pastor Joel Weber, I believe his name is. And if Vivek Ramaswamy was not clear in how the racists in these countries feel about him, Pastor Joel Weber wants to make it clear that Vivek Ramaswamy understands how they really feel about him.
It matters that every president we've ever had, not that they truly are Christian, but they all at least had to pay credence. They all had to tip the hat. They all, in their rhetoric, had to be a true regenerate Christian. No, but they all had to at least profess it. Do you really want to open Pandora's box? Because it won't be a one-time scenario. You get someone like Vivek, and this is what I was arguing 2 years ago during the presidential election. I was like, you get Vivek. You've just opened the door for Hindus, for an Indian scammer Hindu. And at that point on, it's a whole new ballgame. No one has to tip the hat to the Christian faith. No one has to placate to Christians in America. You should have to placate to Christians in America if you want to be a leader in America. Right? This would change everything. Same thing with a woman president. I said it back with Hillary. I was like, look, Trump is way better than Hillary on all the moral issues. But even if he wasn't, if Trump was slightly worse than Hillary on some big moral issues, simply by virtue of him being a man, he would have my vote. Why? Because again, it would be Pandora's box. It would be the first woman president, setting a new precedent for all of time that, in terms of laws of average, maybe the first woman, maybe they're exceptional. But now we're going to have women presidents for the next 250 years because we opened the door. We're going to have not just one of them, but dozens of them. And on average, the dozens of female presidents versus the dozens of male presidents, those female presidents will be objectively worse. Those Hindu presidents will be objectively worse. So all that back to Vivek, not only will he scam Ohioans, not only will he flood them with H-1B visas and rob them of their inheritance and their wealth, but if he becomes the governor of Ohio, you have solidified Vivek's political career for the rest of his life in America. He's not going away.
Exactly.
This is the chance to say, no, never, ever go back home. Get out of our country. You were born in America, sure, by days. Your dad hates our country, never took the time to become a citizen. You're an anchor baby. Your family built their wealth by robbing white people with miracle drugs that you knew were not going to be viable. You became a billionaire. You paid your way onto every podcast. You've been lying. You've been deceiving. And this is not American. You are not American. You are a Hindu. You are a polytheist. You are a false idol worshiper. Go home. Get out of our country. I don't care about you quoting Thomas Jefferson. I don't care about you pretending to honor the founders. This is America. We wear shoes in this country. We eat beef in this country. We worship Christ exclusively in this country. We don't rob people of their wealth in this country. Get the hell out. That's the proper response.
POCs, that's what they think about you, especially if you are an immigrant. The difference between Black Americans and other Black people and POCs, we know how they feel about us. You cozy up to them. You side with white supremacy. You shill for them. You vote them into power. And all of the negative things that they say and think about you, they do the same. But you vote them into power so that they can negatively affect you. I wonder if Vivek Ramaswamy saw that video. He didn't need to see that video because he did some type of town hall and the young people out in Ohio told him exactly what they thought about him. And he continued on as if these people were not talking directly to him. He won the primary. He is the Republican candidate for governor out in Ohio. We'll see if they vote him in to be the governor. Listen, I got errands to run. Y'all let me know your thoughts about all of this down in the comment section. All right, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'll see y'all in the next one.